It was a cold evening in the small town of Riverton. The neon lights of Maggie's Diner flickered as a group of roaring motorcycles pulled into the parking lot. The townsfolk always got nervous when they heard those engines. The Iron Serpents biker gang was known for being wild, rough, and unpredictable. But that night, something happened that no one in town would ever forget. Inside the diner, a young waitress named Lily moved quietly between tables, balancing plates and coffee pots. She smiled at every customer, but her eyes told a different story. She wore long sleeves despite the warm heater humming in the corner, and when she reached across the counter, the sleeves slipped just enough for someone to notice. Rex Dalton, the leader of the Iron Serpents, had seen a lot in his life. Fights, scars, betrayal. But when he saw the faint purple bruises on Lily's wrist, something inside him stopped cold. He wasn't the kind of man who missed details, especially not signs of pain hidden under a polite smile. He looked at her quietly for a moment before asking, "You okay, sweetheart?" Lily froze. No one usually asked her that. "I'm fine," she whispered quickly, pulling down her sleeve. But Rex wasn't convinced. The gang laughed and joked around the booth, ordering burgers and beer, but Rex barely touched his food. He kept watching the way Lily flinched whenever the doorbell rang, as if she feared someone might walk in. When Lily brought the check, Rex gently caught her wrist. She tensed up instantly. His voice softened. "Who did this to you?" Her lips trembled. "Please, don't make trouble. It's nothing. I just fell." But Rex had heard that line too many times before, from women who thought pain was something they deserved. He nodded slowly, letting go of her wrist. "Okay," he said. "If it's nothing, then it's nothing." But it wasn't. That night, after the gang left, Lily's abusive boyfriend, Carl, stormed into the diner. He reeked of alcohol and anger. The few remaining customers slipped out quickly as his voice thundered across the room. "You think I wouldn't find out you were talking to those bikers?" he yelled, grabbing Lily by the arm. Outside, Rex and his men were just starting their engines. But he heard the yelling through the glass. His eyes narrowed. Without a word, Rex dismounted his bike and walked back to the diner, pushing the door open so hard that the bell above it nearly broke off. The diner went dead silent. Carl spun around, glaring at him. "This ain't your business, old man," he spat. Rex walked closer, his heavy boots thudding against the floor. His voice was calm, too calm. "See, that's where you're wrong," he said. "When a man lays a hand on a woman, it becomes my business." Carl puffed up his chest. "You think you can scare me? You're just some biker trash." He didn't get to finish. In one swift motion, Rex pinned Carl's wrist to the counter, twisting it just enough to make him drop the beer bottle he'd been holding. The glass shattered on the floor. The rest of the gang stood behind Rex, silent and deadly. Rex leaned closer, his voice a low growl. "If I ever see another bruise on her, you won't be able to lift your hand again. Understand?" Carl's face went pale. He nodded quickly, eyes wide with fear. Rex released him, and the man stumbled out of the diner, clutching his arm. Lily stood frozen, tears streaming down her face. "You didn't have to do that," she said softly. Rex turned toward her. "Yeah, I did," he replied. "No one deserves to be scared in their own life." He pulled out a small card from his jacket pocket and slid it onto the counter. "If he comes back, or if you need help, call me." And with that, he left. The next morning, word spread across Riverton like wildfire. The Iron Serpents, the same gang everyone feared, had protected a waitress from her abusive boyfriend. People started seeing them differently. They weren't just rough riders anymore, they were protectors. A few days later, Lily showed up at the motorcycle garage where Rex worked. Her sleeves were rolled up this time, and there was a light in her eyes that hadn't been there before. "I wanted to say thank you," she said. "For what you did." Rex smiled faintly, wiping his hands on a rag. "You don't owe me anything. Just take care of yourself." But she shook her head. "No, I owe you my courage. I left him. I'm starting over." For the first time in a long while, Rex felt something warm stir in his chest, a sense of pride he hadn't felt in years. From that day on, Lily worked at the diner with her head held high. The bruises faded, replaced by confidence and laughter. And whenever the Iron Serpents rode through town, she'd always save a table by the window, just in case Rex stopped by for coffee. Months later, the sheriff approached Rex one afternoon. "You know," he said, "folks used to be scared of your gang. Now they're saying you're heroes." Rex smirked, sliding his sunglasses back on. "We're not heroes," he said. "We just don't like bullies." And with that, he revved his engine, the roar echoing through the town that would never forget the night the biker gang leader stood up for the waitress with bruises. Because sometimes, the roughest hearts hide the purest courage. Moral: strength isn't about fighting for power, it's about fighting for what's right.